Yeah, so that skyline taking off like that, which reminds me of another thing. The other guy, kid, I call him kid, he's 38, something like that, that's gonna be there checking the motors out with us. Baby Nuts is what I nicknamed him. He's so cute when I met him. It's like, well, he had to have been 18, but he looked like he was 13. Anyways, I'm pretty sure he was there when I blew my knee out, so we might be able to get a double noble. Anyways, this guy I worked for bought a TMY50 that had been, rebuilt, repainted, nice order. This guy, he did not, he'd buy stuff that was, wore out or whatnot and put a bunch of money into it and sell them. And anyway, so he bought this 50 that, it rebuilt the motor and then went through the hydraulic system and everything, repainted it. Brought it to the shop. First thing he did was yank the canopy off it, pull the motor and take it in and have it pumped up. Now we got a TMY50 with a pumped up motor in it. And he stripped the skyline off. It was in pretty good shape, really. But he stripped the skyline off, put a new skyline on, pulled the skidding line, put all new skidding line on, and sold both of them to another Jimbo that couldn't afford a new line. And they were still in all right shape. And then the tag drum filled in with, I want to say 7/16. And we made it in 3 pieces. Kind of had a haywire on it, just like our haywire, so we could change roads with it and whatnot. But anyway, so I knew how to run yarder, but I didn't know that much about them. We rigged that yarder up, and we started logging with it. Well, it would throw away like that. And when it'd peel, it would just and then catch. And I'm like, what? And so I thought that the brake needed to be adjusted more or whatnot. I'm asking the yarder engineer, and he's like, I don't know. So we messed with it for a couple of weeks or whatever, and I'm trying to ask, questions and whatnot, trying to get the information. Well, we had an Eagle 4 slack splitter car on, and it was slow. Oh my God, it was slow. Where the drop line come out of the back of it is your little rollers. Where they're shedding a turn in, and the skyline peels like that, and it drops about 200 feet and then catches. And it was so violent, I can't believe we didn't brake and just flop the yarder over. But it caught so hard that them rollers in the back of that carriage broke out. And we ended up smoking like 400 feet of drop line. Anyway, so he goes and buys a new Acme carriage. 28S, I think. 800 feet a minute to slack. Or 300 feet, sorry. And so we timed it, and it was taking like a minute and 5 seconds. So it was over 300 feet of lift. Anyway, so just within days of that, my dad comes to run shovel for the guy over there. And the first time it happens, my dad tells me, and I couldn't believe how easy and simple a fix it was. It's not so much that the brake needed to be adjusted, it was that it gets like smooth and rough spots on it from setting. And so when it starts to peel, it'll peel, catch. Peel, catch. So the solution was that when you would pick it up in the mornings or after road change, just put your foot on the brake or pull the peel brake on and pick it up and down 2 or 3 times, get the brake a little bit hot. It takes the glaze off the brake. Very next time after that, it just, I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, just simple little things like that I didn't know. And I'd been adjusting the brake the whole time. So when Dad did get there, we ended up taking like this much. I was like, oh my God, that thing never peeled. So anyways, with this doing it, it just jarred my memory that's... Why can't he give me enough hope? Oh my God, that guy. but still. This guy. Oh my God, this guy. So I do have to say that working with my dad fine-tuned my yarder engineering. I'm still not that great of a yarder engineer, but I do know a lot more about running them. Not mechanicking on them, running them. He also showed me where they have this stuff that's called Fuller's Earth, and it's a fine powder that you put on the frictions when they slip. You don't want anything abrasive in there because it'll tear them up. Like he showed you, that stuff is expensive. It's like $50 for a little tiny bottle. Bond Ami. It's a Comet style stuff. Cleaner, but it's non-abrasive. And it works really, 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 really good. And it's like $1.79 for the same size bottle. And vinegar. You put vinegar on a friction, you better be ready to fold, because it immediately makes it puck. It just, it wears off a lot quicker than the powder stuff, but boy, you absolutely better be ready to fold, because it goes right. It's almost like making it direct drive. That same baby nuts, Phil, was on that job with me where that 50 was, and it was a big job. And honestly, we should have had a 90-foot tower in there. And he was doing a good job, but he was breaking in, pulling rigging. We was on the back hillside, and we had 200 plus feet of lift. We was picking the turns up, and instead of running the carriage ahead so that when they would tree length, when they would come up full suspension, you know, they would be out in front of you or whatnot. Well, he was picking them right up and they would swing. I told him a couple of times, I'm like, listen to me, buddy. You pick that thing up, because we had so much left and so much line. Same deal like there with Rose. That once everything come up tight, we would up-hoe him and really get the smoking, you know, you had to. They'd come up off the ground. If you didn't slow them down in time, they'd go swinging. It's not such a great idea, but anyways, I told him, I said, you swing those logs over my head one more time, buddy. I'm going to show you how. Because we were taking, I had my side, he had his side, and each one of us had a choker center, because we had 4 guys on the rig, and it was that big of a job. We've been going front and back, but they finished the front. So, he did it again, and I didn't say anything. No, sorry. Next turn, pull my drum line out. He starts going ahead on it, up-hoe, and I double up-hoed him, and the guy that was running yarder, he was the same way I am about it. You double up-hoe, you better be ready. He kicked her up into high gear, pulled the throttle back, and I had 2, 26, 28-inch butts, tree length. And when they went into their swing, I went into a double slack, so I actually threw the logs that way. Well, I knew those guys were uphill a little bit, but it was still going to be a scary situation. And they go to scattering like mice on cheese. Never did it again. He's like, oh my God. But I told you, buddy, you swing those logs over my head again, I'm going to do it to you. And I'm going to show you what it feels like to be that scared. Oh yeah, he never did it again. But yeah, we were way overmatched on that dog that had a TM-Y50 in there. We got it, and we actually did better. When it was all said and done, average daily load count did better than what we did it at. So we did alright, but they should have had a big, what the? Oh my God, this guy. Oh my God, this guy. Yeah, they should have had a big tower in there. But they didn't, so. started that job because we had so much issue with help, rigging crews, all 9 yards. The owner told me, I do not want, if it's just, one of the rigging guys doesn't show up, and it's just one and you're making a layout, I don't want him out there by himself. Or if you have to be in the order, I don't want just one guy on the rigging by themselves. Shut it down. Because it was a pretty nasty job. And my dad, at this time I wasn't keeping as much good as track as I do of things. My dad did. When the job was all said and done, we went home 9 days because I was either on the order or couldn't be on the rigging with the guy. And most times because I was running yarder. And we worked 21 days with just me on the rigging. I got a big fat bonus out of it. It was pretty nice. But and that kind of a mentality, in the old days, it just, back in those kind of, guys showed up for work. I know. People get way too pampered nowadays. And just like that, most old school loggers, A, like I say, would have had guys that were responsible and been there every day, and B, you hired out to be tough and go in dangerous places, so it didn't work. So during our little debacle with the Skyline break and all that, I told you guys that the bird had fired up there, and we heard it, so taking off. So I looked over. There's a Y there. So, anyways, the bird's lifting, and the ambulance is going up the hill. No light sirens, nothing like that. You probably wouldn't use them up here, anyways. The 3 white pickups that I assume are mill representatives were there, and then the dark colored 6-pack crummy, another dark colored pickup, and then another pickup, dark colored, and then it shortly left after them too. So, and the truck driver said nobody's talking on the CB. They haven't heard anything. They haven't heard anything over the big radios. Normally they try to keep that stuff pretty quiet because you don't want hearsay or misinformation about that. We had a guy got hurt once. It was stupid. Had to work on one of them little Eagle cars where you had to put a pin in the bank plate chain. And instead of shutting the motor off for 2 seconds, it was going to save time. I had a brand new hickory shirt on, and it's got a little drive line in there. Well, the drive line caught this part of his shirt. I thought he was wrestling the yarder engineer, to be honest. And then once I realized that he wasn't. So, alright, it's not, it's not life-threatening and whatnot. We better get you to town. The chaser goes over, gets on his phone to call the boss, and we had sketchy at best service. And we got into an argument about it, because I'm like, no. This type of thing is not something you want to take a chance of getting a broke up message and, the boss thinking that we are headed to town with a dead body or something, It's not life-threatening. It's not that big of a deal. 20 minutes, we'll be down off the hill. We can call him and get, good service, and, everybody will know what's going on. So in situations like that, you do have to decide whether it's a good idea, And I don't remember why, but it was 100% sure because he was on a different job that didn't have service either. So, you do have to decide whether, if it would have been a life-threatening situation or he would have been injured a lot more, then it would have been a different situation. I still probably wouldn't have made the call because I don't think it's a good idea on a situation like that to get broke up messages. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being being said too about broke up sketchy messages, like when the chaser called when I got rolled over, the boss got on him big time. He got in big trouble for that. His company policy was not to do that. And actually, I said there was another person there that I couldn't remember who it was. It was my sister-in-law. And the reason being is because my wife was pregnant. And so this guy, he didn't call my wife, he called my brother's wife and told her, and she went over and told her in person. Actually, I do believe she called my sister and had my sister go over. Where the company wanted to, like I say, wait, and then they would have just made a phone call. And I don't think that's right in any, you know, like with the kid in his arm, that would have been an appropriate phone call home that somebody's been hurt. But the situation that I was in, you know, it needed to be said personal, especially with my wife being pregnant, you know, and already having 2 little ones running around the house. So I think the guy did the right thing, and that's what I probably would have done. Each different circumstances, different and whatnot. So, all right, stay safe, friends. Get logs.